Jen Psaki on the defensive after seeming to mock the concern about the dramatic rise in violent crime in this country. At one point, she appeared to laugh at the issue. We'll get her response to the criticism she's receiving for this. But all of this is happening as major cities are clearly seeing a spike in crime, record homicide rates in some American cities, and police officers in particular being targeted. In New York City, 5 officers have been shot since the start of the year, and we are just 1 month in. Let's bring in Joe Gamaldi, National Vice President for the Fraternal Order of Police. I can't help but start off by getting a reaction to what just happened in Stockton, California, as we await more details. A fire captain, Fortuna, passed away now, 47 years old, shot on the job this morning.
I mean, it's completely heartbreaking. And of course, my thoughts and prayers are with the Stockton Fire Department and that firefighter's family, as now they have to pick up the pieces. But people need to understand that America is an infinitely more dangerous place than it used to be. Last year, we had 15 American cities experience their highest murder rates ever recorded. In 2020, we had over 20,000 homicides in this country. We haven't seen that number since the mid-90s. And then, you know, Jen Psaki has the nerve to laugh when we talk about violent crime. I mean, is there a person that is more tone deaf to what is going on in this country right now? She laughs as people are suffering. She laughs as police officers are being shot in the street. And then when she's asked about inflation, she says, go have a margarita? I mean, we can't even find the ingredients for a margarita on the shelves right now. Or take a kickboxing class? Are you kidding me? People don't even have the money to feed their families, and you're suggesting that? I mean, it just boggles the mind what this administration is focusing on, and they might be the most tone-deaf administration we've seen in decades.
So I want to make sure that I put this into context, because she says in the White House briefing, she was asked about it by our own reporter, Jackie Heinrich. She says that she was commenting on a chyron that was on the screen that happened to be on our network screen in the moment that she was delivering this interview. She said the banner had something about soft on crime consequences in it, and she said that it took the White House policies on crime out of context. She was asked about it, and here was her response in the briefing room.
If you look at Fox on a daily basis, I mean, do you remember the 4 boxes that we had on all the TVs, right? Which is on my TV right now. So right now, just to give you a sense, so CNN, Pentagon, as many as 8,500 U.S. troops on heightened alert. Okay, true. Same on MSNBC. CNBC is doing their own thing about the market. And then on Fox is Jeanine Pirro talking about soft on crime consequences. I mean, what does that even mean, right? So there's an alternate universe on some coverage. What's scary about it is a lot of people watch that.
Okay, so to be clear, that wasn't her reaction in the White House briefing room, clearly. That was the actual interview in which she didn't reference a chyron. She referenced someone on our network, a colleague of ours, talking about soft on crime consequences. Again, she was asked about this a few moments ago in the briefing room and said this.
Were you speaking in your personal opinion, or is that at all a reflection of the priorities of this administration? Because the criticism is that it would reflect that crime is not a priority of this administration.
Well, I encourage anyone to listen to the full context of the interview and the conversation. What I was speaking to was a chyron on Fox News, since you raised it, which suggested this administration is soft on crime with no basis, given we have had many conversations and back and forth with you and your colleagues about the prioritization of the president to ensure that we are working as close partners with leaders, whether it is Mayor Adams, who he's going to spend the day with on Thursday, or others in the country. And the facts speak for themselves. Well, this is what I was talking about in the interview for the full context. In the American Rescue Plan, there was additional funding to support local cops programs, something that every single Republican voted against. I said in that interview that I know they don't like it when we call that out. I'm going to keep calling that out because that's a fact. Also, President Biden has proposed a significant increase in funding for local cops programs in his budget, more than the prior president. That's a fact. So if those facts are uncomfortable, I'm sorry for people who feel they need to be critical, but the president has been a longtime advocate of addressing crime. He's never been for defunding the police. Our Department of Justice has increased funding, has put in place support for strike forces. And the other fact that is never talked about in these Fox packages, maybe in this one, is the fact that gun crime is a major driver of crime across the country. also a fact. So those are pieces, I think, in that moment I was speaking to. And again, we're about the facts here, and addressing crime is something that is a root of the president's agenda.
So we wanted to make sure we were completely fair there and played out her response in its entirety to our own Jackie Heinrich when asked about it. But to question a discussion on soft on crime policies in a moment where we are still grieving the loss of that police officer here in New York, where we just watched the funeral at St. Patrick's, where his widow cried at the church, calling out the policies of the far left DA in this city for his soft on crime policies that are leading to a surge in crime in this city. That is a completely reasonable question and conversation to be had. And it is a completely valid question to ask whether or not fighting those soft on crime policies in many parts of this country that are leading to spikes in crime are a priority for this administration. To you.
Yeah, well, I think Jen probably deserves a gold medal in gymnastics for that response as she tried to clean up her flippant remarks from the other day. You know, a recent Fox Business poll said 77% of Americans are concerned about violent crime in this country. Rightfully so. We are seeing police officers shot left and right. Last year, we had 346 police officers shot, which was a record. This year, we've already had 30 police officers shot this month. The FBI just released a study that said 2021 was the deadliest year for law enforcement intentional homicides in the last 20 years. We should be having a conversation about violent crime in this country every single day. We should be talking about rogue prosecutors and how they let violent criminals out over and over again. We should be talking about the unmitigated disaster that is bail reform. And where is the president? Why isn't President Biden addressing the nation about violent crime? Why has the White House been suspiciously silent as the violence against law enforcement escalates to historic numbers? Where are they? Where is the leadership? So, you know, she can go ahead and just stick to her talking points, but the American public are not stupid. They see right through this. And to your viewers right now, if there are politicians in your community that are still attacking law enforcement during the historic crime rises we're seeing, while we're seeing police officers shot left and right, ask yourselves, truly ask, do they give a damn about your family or the community? Let me stop you, because they don't.
Joe, I know we're out of time, but I feel it's very important to get this in here because it's not us highlighting this. We're hearing from the police officers themselves. One was on Faulkner Focus earlier. This is Edwina Ferguson, a Philadelphia police officer. Listen to this. 23-year-old son killed in a robbery last week. Listen.
People look at police and, you know, they hate the police. They don't like cops. But we are human. We are human. They let one seat ruin the whole bunch, but we have feelings, we have families, we have babies, we have children. We're just like you, but we put on a uniform every day to go to work.
Fighting this crime is a priority for her and her family. And Joe, we know it is for you as well. Thank you very much for joining us. We'll have you back soon.
Thank you.